Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Proverbs 31 Woman. Each and every day, we talk about just a verse from the chapter of Proverbs 31. And it has been so exciting because we've had the opportunity to build every single day on another aspect of our role, our responsibilities as a Proverbs 31 woman. And on today, we're going to talk about you're worth more than rubies and the value of a virtuous woman. So, Proverbs chapter 31, verse 10 talks about who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies. Now, this verse is the gateway to one of the most celebrated portraits of womanhood in the Bible. Yet, it begins with a question and not a declaration. Who can find a virtuous woman? It's not a statement of doubt. It's a call to recognize the rarity that we have on the inside, right? The word virtuous here isn't about morality alone, it means strength, valor, and excellence, right? Just virtuous, all summed up in one word. So in Hebrew, the word is shayil, right? Often it's used to describe mighty warriors. Yes, that's right. You are all that and then some. Okay, so let's break the illusion now, right? The Proverbs 31 woman is not docile, right? She's divine and dynamic. She is a woman of inner strength, of fierce integrity, and unshakable vision. She is not common, first of all. She's not mass produced. She's not cheap. And she is crafted in legacy. You know how they like to say she's all that and a bag of chips? Yes, please. Okay. I will say when you know that you know that you know, nobody can take that away from you. And I want you to know that that is just how uniquely and crafted that you've been made. You've have all this stuff that's been put on the inside. And can I just say that some of you are power packed with it, right? You know your worth. You know that you're not going to take down and settle for less. Can I just say, if you're not in that confident space right now, this is your moment for you to go ahead and realign and reattach yourself to that. That yes, you are all that and then some, right? And I want you to wear it proudly from the standpoint it's not arrogant, it's not loud, it's not boastful, boisterous at all, right? You want to make sure that however it is confident and you're doing something with that which you were given, right? You're allowing the weight of all of this to show up with impact and with influence. The next part of the verse says that her price is far above rubies. At one point, when I worked in corporate America, I was a manager for a prominent jewelry store. And with that, we would have an array of precious gems. Well, a lot of times people don't understand that rubies and sapphires and emeralds are extremely, they can be very rare. And usually, the rarer that they are, the more that they cost. Can I just say that you're one of the rare ones, right? So go ahead and, pat yourself on the shoulder, pop your collar if necessary, because you know your worth is just not average, right? So, why rubies? In ancient times, rubies were among the rarest and the most valuable of gems. Their deep red color symbolize bloodlines, royalty, and sacrifice. So a ruby had weight, worth, and it had wonder. But this woman's value exceeded that. Can you say my value exceeded that? Right? So, what made her so valuable? Her integrity is consistent, right? She doesn't fluctuate based on her environment. Number two is that her character can't be purchased. Whew, that right there will speak by itself. Matter of fact, they say that I preach, right? She's not for sale to the culture, to convenience, and or to compromise, right? She's not going to take down on who she is. She's not going to compromise her integrity, right? And number three, her presence multiplies the room, right? It magnifies some things. So wherever she goes, home, businesses, ministries, in the community, she doesn't just grow, she elevates those environments. Now, let's talk about a teaching moment for just a minute, right? I want to talk about value versus validation because this has the ability to show up and show out at the same time. So, we live in a world that teaches women to prove their worth on social media, in relationships, at the job, and in various places. But the Proverbs 31 woman didn't audition for her value. So you don't have to prove nothing to anybody, right? She embodies it, right? Her value is embodied in the way that she carries herself, the way that she shows up in her leadership, the way that she advocates for others, and how she shows up in various environments, right? And so must you do the same thing as a Proverbs 31 woman. Now, you don't become valuable because of your salary, your followers, your marital status, your designer handbags, the fancy shoes, the nice clothes, all of that. Because if that was the case, some of us would have far exceeded that a long time ago, right? But it's the inner working that you have. It's your heart, your character, the peace, the joy, the alignment, and the oneness that you have with our Creator, right? You're valuable because you carry divine assignment and generational destiny in your womb, spiritually, and in some cases, literally. And that's priceless. You don't need to be loud to be legendary. You don't need to be seen to be sovereign. And your virtue speaks volumes all by itself. So, of course, I'm going to give you a real life example. We're going to consider Michaela on today, a CEO who turned down a $7 million investor deal because they wanted her to strip the faith based component from her curriculum, right? She had something that was super powerful, ready to go, but they wanted to take the faith based aspect out of it. Where are you being compromised or challenged to now take down to have a lower standard, right? When asked why she walked away, she said, I don't compromise my calling for cash. That will speak by itself, right? Don't allow yourself to be compromised for the cash, right? Now, I will say that could be challenging when the bills are calling, right? It could be challenging when you want the new house, the new car, the whatever it is, right? If they can't see the value in your virtue, they can't afford you. It's just that simple, right? She would often walk around saying, if they can't see the value in my virtue, they can't afford me. And this is where you have to draw a hard line to say, you're going to stand on your morals, your values, your characteristics, your integrity without allowing money to cloud the judgment. Now, that is legacy and that is royalty. And that is Rubies walking today, right? It is showing up and showing sometimes others that you can't be bought. So let's also talk about how not to undervalue the priceless. Some women discount themselves for attention, and others lower their standards for connection, right? To feel like that they're the part of the inner circle. But sis, can I just say that rubies don't go on sale? Not the rare and real valuable ones, they don't, right? You're going to pay the cost to have the rarity in your possession. Can I just say that you're just that rare, that your values should not be lowered? It can't be lowered, right? Because why? It takes away the power and the original intent of its design, right? So stop applying for jobs that can't carry your anointing, that can't hold you in that space, right? Stop dating beneath your destiny. Stop shrinking to fit into rooms that can't even hold your crown. Now I know this is a little tough today and it's a little strong, but I want you to understand that when you value who you are, when you value what's been given to you, you hold that tight and you keep it close to chest and you allow yourself sometimes to be set aside for a time, right? All the time that you're set aside, that sometimes people may not even understand who you are, why you even showed up on the scene, none of that. Where did you come from, right? I do understand that that is a real thing. However, the blessings that come upon your life pay great dividends. And when people understand that you're not going to compromise your integrity, you're not going to take down just to be on the inside and be a part of the in crowd, yeah, they'll understand that that's your true value, that you're a leader among leaders, right? And that you're set aside for such a time as this. So our activation for today is this. I want you to write down a list of non negotiables. Now, today is going to be a little bit of a day that we're going to do a little more because we're going deeper, right? We're setting the tone for our next. So, the number one thing is write a list of your non negotiables in business and relationships and in your faith. Whether you got to make 3 columns and write that out, I want you to do that. Number two is that I want you to reflect on where you've discounted your worth for temporary gratification. Now, yes, I paused for a moment of silence because only you know what that is in that area that you need to work on. But I want you to write it down and I want you to give it to the Lord, right? Number three is I want you to identify one area this week where you will raise your value standard, right? Where you say, okay, enough. I did that yesterday, but I'm not going to do it today. I'm not going to do it tomorrow. I'm not going to do it going forward. I want you to write that area down as well. Now, I did say, because we're going a little bit deeper, that this is going to challenge you a little bit more, but I want you to spend some time there. I also want you to still journal. You don't get a pass because we're doing the other work. I want you to journal as well. Number one, journal prompt for today is that in what ways have I allowed people or systems to define my worth? That's right. That's another moment to just pause there for a moment and just reflect on where and in what ways have I allowed people or systems to define my worth? Write it down and put your thoughts behind that. Number two is how can I show up as the Rubies version of myself today, right? Whether that means that you dress up a little extra, right? For those of you that, love to pull out the makeup and, do the fancy things, that might mean that you do that, right? Pull out that special perfume and all. And then number three, what does it mean for me to walk in virtue in my current season now? If that don't challenge you to go deep, then I don't know what will. but spend some time there with that question also. Our affirmation of the day is I am far above rubies. My value is rooted in virtue, not validation. I walk with worth, I talk with integrity, and I reign with purpose. I will not lower my price to meet the world's budget. I was made to lead in legacy. If you have enjoyed this, go ahead and comment. Leave me a message of how you're applying this information, how this message, how it touched you, and potentially share with us, right? We're all family here. Share with me what it is that you're going to do differently, that you show up with the value that has been put on your life, right? That rare ruby. And how it is that you're going to make a difference in your home, your community, in the marketplace, on your jobs, as the CEO, as the entrepreneur that you've been called, the mompreneur, right? How is it that you're going to show up in your space? Go ahead and share that with me. And of course, I look forward to sharing with you again on tomorrow as we continue to go deep and break all of these verses down from Proverbs chapter 31. Don't forget, like, share, and comment. Go ahead. That's right. Share it with somebody that you know that needs to hear this. And let's show up like the Proverbs 31 women that we are on today. I hope that this encouraged you. Follow me on all social media at I am Dr. Tabitha. Go to my website, drtabitharussell.com, if you would like to schedule a session with me. I look forward to connecting with you again on tomorrow. Take care.